And a warm good evening to you from Drake Stadium on the campus of Drake University. It's Paul Yeager here on DowlingWebcasting.com. Glad you could be with us here as we begin the 2013 campaign for Dowling Catholic football. Here at Drake, it's an exciting football game. Sophomores are playing. Right now, it is a 37-23 Dowling Catholic lead over Valley. The freshmen of Valley defeated Dowling's freshman last night, and that is the way that ball game. And the varsity will be kicking off about half an hour, so we're going to be with you here for a little while tonight and get you ready for high school football. It's one of those football games that they don't make them any better than this, especially in the state of Iowa. It is Valley, it is Dowling. It's an exciting football game. This is a rivalry that it's the 65th meeting between these two squads, and it's just one of those football games where usually ends up that the winner of this ball game goes on to play at the Unidome, either for a chance at the state title or in the semifinals. They make it in one way or another. So we have a jam-packed first half here for you tonight. We've got all sorts of people coming to talk to. My color analyst will be Billy Battistone. He'll be joining us here in a little bit. But we're going to go ahead and bring in our Valley analyst from ValleyWebcasting.com. That's Keith Bornes, and he's down on the sideline. And first of all, Keith, you're standing in the middle of all of that maroon. I hope you don't catch anything if you're a Valley guy. Are you worried about that?
Well, that's actually a pretty unique feeling walking down the sideline with all of the maroon coming out. But, you know, it's also a funny feeling when you look into the crowd and you know several of the people from your own community. They just look a little bit different wearing their maroon colors. And so I survived. Seth protected me. And we are looking forward to a great ball game tonight. Some of the keys for Valley, of course, would be they got to have some good on-the-line play tonight, both offensively and defensively. Offensively speaking, trying to create holes for Gray and Mason to be able to run through. And defensively, as every Dowling person knows and everybody else in the state is sure to know as well, how do you contain your quarterback, Ryan Boyle? Fantastic athlete, doing a wonderful job this year, coming off of a big injury from last year. And so the keys are going to be one in the trenches.
All right, Keith, that's the best thing I've ever heard you say. One of the reasons is I can't hear what you said, but I know it was insightful. No.
You are a silver-tongued double,
our color analyst on the ValleyWebcasting.com website, giving you a little insight of what is the Valley Tigers and what this game is all about. We're going to talk a little bit of Dowling Catholic, though. Ryan Osborne, class of 01, is also the director of development here at Dowling Catholic. So, Ryan, get over here. Just step a little bit. We need to see that field instead of that crazy press box behind you. But this is an exciting place to play.
Absolutely. It's a gorgeous night. We're a little fortunate. We got the shade side tonight on the Dowling side, so we're going to be in good shape. It'll give us a little stamina for later.
Well, and I'll tell you what, last week was one of those weeks. The Maroons were over at Southeast Polk, and I don't think it was any cooler in Altoona than it was in West Des Moines.
No, it wasn't. They got that good trick play on us at the start, and then we cooled them down pretty good after that. It was a good game, though.
Well, Coach Tom Wilson, what a great group. Your office is just down the hall from him. You probably get to see him quite a bit, especially during football season. I'm sure you see a lot. Oh, wait, no, he's always in that office trying to cook up some things. Talk about your office. Was walking up to school today, and I can see it. I can see the vision of what's going to be there when you come in from that west side. That chapel is going to be amazing. Tell me about the St. Joseph Chapel.
Absolutely, Paul. Yeah, we're extremely excited about it for all of our alums listening around the country. Hopefully people have been able to see the drawings. But exactly right, Paul. The new St. Joseph Chapel, named in honor of the legacy of the St. Joseph Academy and the faith that they had and passed along down the decades. It's going to be a new chapel and a new school entrance in the Circle Drive. So if you come onto campus right now, if you can kind of picture that circle, there's a flagpole. The chapel is going to go right out into that circle. So it's really going to be the introduction to campus going forward and kind of the first thing you see coming on Dowling's property, and just be kind of a beacon for the school and really speak to the mission of the school as well. So we're really excited.
So I was trying to see how that's going to fit. It will displace that Circle Drive. You'll move that a little closer to Buffalo Road. But what else? How big is that thing going to be? Big enough to hold everybody from campus in there at one time?
It won't be big enough to hold the entire student body, but it will be big enough to hold one class. So, for instance, we could have a senior class mass in there. We could have a junior, sophomore, freshman class mass. And we've been doing some of that a little bit more and more in these last couple of years, but there's just really not a dedicated space to hold a group that size. You know, we could also have faculty and staff masses, alumni reunion masses. We want to be able to have back on campus as well if they want to come back for a reunion weekend or homecoming and so forth. So, and then on top of the masses, will also afford us a space to have, Stations of the Cross, other liturgies throughout the year that, we just can't do right now in a sacred, dedicated space.
What's the timetable on this? This is Ryan Osborne, Director of Development at Dowling Catholic, class of '01, so he knows what this game is all about from that side. What's the timetable for trying to turn a shovel?
The goal right now is to put a shovel in the ground this coming spring, so the spring of 2014. And right now we're in the construction and design phase. We're getting close to the final kind of steps in that. There's a meeting coming up here in a couple weeks where they're really fine-tuning the interior, and then from there they'll kind of get the blueprints and then go out and take some bids and so forth for the actual construction. With the city and the zoning and all that takes some time, but we've got a good timeline in place. And so from the fundraising standpoint, we're hoping to get all that completed around Christmas time and be able to announce that as a nice Christmas gift to the Dowling Catholic community and tell them in March of 2014 or in April of 2014 we're going to put a shovel in the ground and get this chapel starting to build.
And that's something that everybody can look forward to, monitor the progress, and I'm sure not everything's paid for, so there are opportunities, and you've probably had lots of conversations. These are those things that a lot of money is raised before you even go out to the public, but this, the St. Joseph's Chapel, is something that a lot of people can look forward to and still support.
Absolutely. We've been kind of bowled over by the number of supporters so far. We've got, I think, close to about 700 donors so far that have stepped up. If you look at the chapel and the entrance together as one, it's about a $4 million project. Right now, today, I think a little bit of more energy when school is starting back up. So we've had some nice donations come in recently, and we're getting closer to that $3.4 million mark as far as the funding goes. But but we really want to get up to that $4 million mark before we start construction. And we're hoping the next few months. There's still some folks out there who would like to help, and we're just excited to keep the momentum going.
All right, I know you don't just have the chapel. I'm sure there's a couple of other things, events like this ball game, homecoming coming up, very big moments for you. Give a final pitch here.
Absolutely. It's the start of every new school year. It's just exciting time on campus, because there is a lot of events, going on. Obviously, football season's always exciting. But yeah, we have a homecoming coming up, obviously, in a few weeks. I think that's our next home game, in fact. And then, during homecoming weekend, there's a lot of reunions that occur on campus. The class of '73. Speaking of the St. Joseph Chapel, they've stepped up and made a nice gift as a class to that. They'll be coming back for homecoming. We'll be recognizing them at the game. We induct our new Athletic Hall of Fame members, which we have, I think, 5 going in this year. So a lot of good times for events. We just had the Mass of the Holy Spirit yesterday. That was kind of the official kickoff of the school year for the students and the faculty and staff. So a lot of energy going on right now and with the kickoff of the new school year.
Ryan Osborne, thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thank you, Paul. Go Maroons.
All right, we'll see you. Oh, I know your prediction's pretty easy, but by how much?
You know what? I think it's going to be a little bit high scoring than people think. Obviously, Valley's got a real tough running back, a speedster back there, but our defense is tough as well, and we certainly looked good last week. So I'm going to go somewhere in the 24 to 14 range, Maroons. Of course, and hopefully we'll get off to a fast start this week.
All right, Ryan Osborne, thank you so much. We'll talk to you probably in a couple of home games.
All right, thank you very much, Paul.
All right, thank you. That's Ryan Osborne, Director of Development here at Dowling Catholic. So we'll send him on his way, and we just have a cavalcade of guests. I mean, you should see this hallway that's standing by me. We're still kind of filling a little bit of time here. It's sophomore game, 30 seconds left. 37-23. Joining me now is going to be Larry Kotler, and last week he was on our turf. Now we're on his turf. You're almost in. That's almost Drake Blue. That is darn close. I think because I'm staring at the blue right behind you. So we got to work with facilities to get that worked out. All right, Larry. Really, there's a couple of other games, but do they really matter tonight?
To them, to those schools, they do, and to their fans, they do. But look, I went to Valley. My wife went to Dowling. A little friendly rivalry inside the family.
Yeah, how's that been this week? Yeah.
It's been good. It's been good. We all get along. Hey, it's just a game, right?
Right.
It's all good.
It is just a game. You got a chance to see Valley last week. You got a chance to see you haven't seen Dowling play yet, but you know a lot about Dowling. Ryan Boyle, pretty good quarterback.
Yeah, pretty good quarterback. Was good the last couple of years. Was good as a freshman. And then last year, blew out the knee and came back last week, 194 yards on the ground, 99 in the air. Was accountable for 4 touchdowns. But the thing, the stat that jumped out at me from last week? Dowling's running game, they ran for 333 yards, and they held Southeast Polk to 9. That's almost impossible.
Well, we know that there's a couple of changes in that offensive setup and strategy at Southeast Polk, but that doesn't take anything away from that Dowling D. All right, if you had to pick, talk a little bit about Valley. I won't call it controversy. I don't think Coach wants to call it that, but who's going to be quarterback for Valley tonight? Alexander is scheduled to get the start, but I'm sure we'll see Legron.
Well, I would think that if Alexander gets the start. But right now they haven't settled on a guy. Tanner Stein was very good for them. And look, Valley quarterbacks, they don't put up big stats. They just run the team. Because let's face it, Valley lives with the running game. They always have. You go back to Zach Cutcomb and the rest of them. I mean, they live with the running game, much like Tyus Mason last week. Finally, he had a very slow first half, but he picked it up and scored the game-winning run, 61 yards. So you want somebody who can manage the game. And I thought Legron did a really good job coming off the bench and sparking a somewhat, I guess you could say, a dismal offense to that point.
Not going to put you on the spot for predictions, but what does it take for either team to win tonight?
Well, I mean, stopping the other team. I mean, they're both going to run the ball. I don't think anybody's going to really light it up in the air. The one that can dominate the line of scrimmage, that's what we see in every game. I remember being here for the Drake Grandview game. That was all about who dominated on the lines. And whoever dominates on the line tonight will win. I mean, Dowling Catholic has to be the favorite coming into this game, but we know enough about Dowling Catholic Valley games to know that nothing's a certainty.
Well, the only thing that kind of jumps out at me is, as good of a game this is, it rarely is a close ball game. You go back to that overtime game when Dowling eventually went on to the state championship. It was a 23-20. As I like to call it, my radio partner at the time, Dave Marcoulier, Wahoo was his nickname. As he came out of the booth, almost like a Jim Zabel moment when Marv Cook caught that touchdown. But he kind of went crazy. That was one of those overtime things, Larry, that other than that, these really aren't that close.
No, that's exactly right. You don't see a lot of nail-biters game. I remember one year, and I'm trying to remember, I think Valley beat Dowling Catholic 22-0, and then they played later in the year. And I can't remember, I think Dowling Catholic won the game, but I don't remember, when you get old like I do, the memory starts to fail. But you're right, early in the season, these games normally are not all that close. They don't come down to the wire, but they do later in the season if it so turns out that they play once again.
Which they could, and it's always possible. All right, other games tonight, the Iowa Sports Spotlight's watching in Central Iowa.
Well, you've got Johnston at Ankeny Centennial. Centennial got that win last week. I'm calling it the Ankeny Bowl as they defeated Ankeny High School 17-7. Johnston's a real good ball club. Curious about Ankeny at Lincoln. It was the first game at Lincoln with Andy Campbell as the new head coach. I'm curious about that game. They're Southeast Polk. Are they going to be able to bounce back tonight? They've got a stiff challenge. I believe it's Ames, if memory serves me correctly. Sam Straub is one of the top quarterbacks in the state. And I'm curious about others, East and North. Look, it's not a marquee matchup, but it's the longest running rivalry in the city. You got Hoover and you've got Urbandale tonight. Urbandale, I think it looks really good based on what we've seen last week. And Roosevelt won last week, and they're going to Indianola. So a lot of terrific games tonight. And I didn't want to neglect Waukee, who I thought looked good last week.
Would you say Waukee is going to be playing for a while in November?
I do. I think Waukee will get. I really like their quarterback. I thought Ben looked very good last week, and they could have won that football game. They could have got blown out too. It was 14-0 Valley until they had that interception in the end zone. But I like the way that Firkin played in the ball game, and I think Waukee is a team that's going to make the playoffs without question.
Well, I think Firkin was the better sophomore quarterback last week, as we found out that Gary had to make a change in that third quarter. All right, we talked a little bit about Dowling. Let's bring this back home here quick, Larry. As this game, the sophomore game, just did go final, 37-30. Maroons hold that one, so the series now is tied at 1 on this Valley Dowling weekend. Larry, defensively for the Maroons, Rico Gafford is a fun player to watch. That's one a lot of people are going to have fun watching.
Yeah, well, they are. And again, Dowling always puts up a stiff defense. They are really good defense, but both teams are. I mean, Valley's always very good defensively, too. I don't think Gary was particularly happy with the defense last week. I think he felt they were okay, but they can get a lot better. When you think about a game like this, I'm thinking something in the 20s. I don't think it's going to be a real high-scoring game, maybe upper teens, something like 24-21, but probably won't be that close, like you said, because the history of the series early in the year is not that close. So, I don't know.
That's exactly right. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. That's the fun of it, though. But the thing we know is they're talking, there's a lot of people waiting in line out there. They're all the way up Paul Morrison Way. You can see it. They're talking about 12,000. I don't know if they'll have 12,000. By the way, to show you the magnitude of this series, I went to a website called ihigh.com, and it's ihigh.com, and they have a little section, and they call it Great American Rivalries. This game was in there. that tells you something nationally, how they feel about this game.
It is a very good game. We had the Army tie to this game a couple of years ago when they came. I think it was 4 years ago when this game was here at Drake Stadium. So it's something that they know about nationwide, maybe ESPN in a couple of years.
Maybe. I don't know. Hey, you never dismiss anything, right? But I'm just waiting to see the bowl fill up.
Yeah.
And I'm talking 11, 12,000 tonight, and that's what makes it special.
All right, Larry, we'll let you get to work. Thank you as always. We'll probably, again, talk to you next week.
Okay. Well, I don't know where I'll be, but, come find me.
We'll find you. We always do.
I know you do. You guys do a great job, and keep it up, okay?
All right, thank you very much. Larry Collar, Iowa Sports Spotlight, also has his radio show on AM 1700. You can hear that weekdays. And we're going to continue this pregame show as we will have Seth Drury a little bit later tonight as he is on our field reporting. We're going to bring up Billy, then Willie. How about that? You know what? Take that back. Yeah, we're going to bring in Billy. I want to bring in Willie first. Everybody loves Willie Farrell. Everybody knows Willie Farrell. I think the last time, Willie Farrell, that you were here, I think you kind of got ambushed, or did we ambush Amadeo? I think is the last time I saw you out here on this exact walkway.
Exactly, yes. And we ought to do it every time we do this games.
It is fun.
Yes. I also like to say my Uncle Kenny watches the game on the webcast. And hi, Uncle Kenny. I was probably freaking him out right now that he's seeing me on it.
Where's Uncle Kenny?
Uncle Kenny lives in Des Moines. It's my father-in-law's brother, and he's home watching the game. He's a faithful Dowling watcher like we all are.
Willie, you're a very young person, so this is only your, sixth or seventh Valley Dowling game?
When you think about it, it's probably my 50th, I'm guessing, something like it. I'm old. I look good because I've been sleeping in Tupperware. I look very good, but I'm doing all right.
You're doing all right. You've seen a lot of these. You've seen some good games. You've seen good coaches. You got to see Williams for a while. Now he's back on the sidelines again, but now it's Wilson. What's it been like to watch this one over the years?
Williams is, he's an icon. He's been around a long time, and a guy that keeps it up as long as he has, it's amazing, and the kids still relate to him. I think it's fantastic. But I think Wilson's, he's fantastic. I hope we can have him around for as long as he wants to stay around.
What's the best part about this? I asked both a couple of the coaches, what's the best part about this game?
It's just the fact that you get to watch these kids grow up, and you get to see how good they can be, and it's a good rivalry. As long as Valley doesn't paint anything on our walls anymore. That
was earlier in the week.
Yeah, but no, it's just a good rivalry, and you just watch a kid grow up from playing parochial ball to coming up and playing now, and hopefully going on and playing Notre Dame or Arizona State or someplace like that. It's kind of cool to watch.
You never went over to Valley High School when you were a student at Dowling, did you?
No, not back
in the middle of the night.
No, we didn't do that back then. I couldn't get a ride. Otherwise, I would have.
You would have done something. What would you have done? What's a good Willie Farrell thing you could have done?
Valley wouldn't even be around anymore. The school would be gone. There wouldn't even be anything known as a Valley High School at this point.
All right. Give me an idea on ways to enjoy this football game if you come to it. Is it best to sit in the middle of one of the sections? Is it best to sit in the middle and just focus on the game? What's a good spot to watch this game?
I think it's always fun to find an older guy that's been a Dowling fan for 50 years and sit next to him, because it's like sitting next to those two old Muppets in the balcony. Because they'll go back and tell you what they should have done and what plays they should have run, and yeah.
Are you looking at that guy right now?
Exactly, yeah, or my father-in-law who's right over here. I think that you got to get in the middle of it. You can't distance yourself. You got to get in the middle of it and enjoy every minute of it.
This is a game that I'd say I think this is only like my 8th of these, and I've seen a couple. It's hard to believe some young guy like me or something. I'm only I'm only like 15, and so I've been coming to these as a kid. But there's people who have been coming to these as a kid. There's a lot of these guys that are neighbors to one another.
Right.
That's kind of fun to be in the neighborhood to have a discussion.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's like you look at the Iowa State rivalry and Michigan State, but Dowling Valley, that's it's as intense as it gets.
It is. What are you doing these days?
Just been doing a lot of comedy. I was in Las Vegas a week ago, and I was in Atlantic City a week before that, just doing stand-up comedy, and I'd be at a comedy club near you one of these days.
Just flew in and boy, your arm's tired, that kind of
thing? Exactly.
You ever played Poughkeepsie?
You know what? Not Poughkeepsie, but I think I was right outside of Poughkeepsie, which I don't know exactly where that's at. That's Pick Your Feet in Poughkeepsie. That's Popeye Doyle. Am I right? How do you know that?
Well, I do like the comedy. In fact, I just got done listening to a couple of podcasts on NPR. They were talking about the late night guys. They did old Letterman, old Leno, and they played the younger guys, the Jimmy Kimmels, the Jimmy Fallons. All of those guys, which one do you like to watch?
I think Letterman's the standard. I think he's the best. Carson, Letterman. But I like Fallon a lot. There's a connection. There's a kid named Steve Higgins who's from Des Moines Roosevelt. That's Fallon's side guy. I think he's fantastic. I think he'll do a great job when he takes over for Jay.
Have you been or in a club or played any of those guys in the years past?
A long time ago, I opened for Leno a couple times when he was doing the road, but that's about it.
And is the chin as big as we think it is?
It's gigantic. His head, it looks like a globe. It's unbelievable.
That's what they say about my head too, Willie, but that's a whole other story.
I can't stop from staring sometimes. When you're looking at the camera, I'm looking at you. I'm sorry.
Well, say hello again. Who else do you want to say hello to besides your Uncle Kenny?
Everybody else that I know is here. We're here. This is a beautiful night. You got to come here. But Uncle Kenny, keep watching. Don't fall asleep.
All right. Willie Farrell, thank you as always. Good to see you. We'll see you next time.
Go Maroons.
Go Maroons. That's what he has to say. That's Willie Farrell. He's always keeping us interested. And one of the guys keeping interested is Seth Drury. He's down on our sideline tonight. We're going to bring him in just a moment here as we get you ready for high school football. We're a few minutes away before the pregame of this contest, and Billy Battistone was here, and we'll find him. We'll bring him on for you. He was busy coaching those sophomores tonight, and we have all sorts of stuff coming up for you in this football game tonight. We have action, as I said, from Seth Drury. He is down on our sideline tonight. He'll be giving us some of the updates. We'll also get a chance to get some analysis and get into this football game. Last week, the Valley Tigers were busy playing Waukee and won that football game, and Billy Battistone is now going to tell me a little bit about these Dowling Maroons. Do you sleep, or do you ever get a chance to take a break, partner?
Rarely. It's a busy time of year for me, and we're up in the box with the sophomores with a big win tonight. So, but no, fall's crazy with school starting and coaching, and I'm in grad school, and so. But I'm glad to be here, glad to be back, excited to be back for a second season. So.
Billy Battistone, internet superstar right here, and he'll be our color analyst on the Dowling Catholic broadcasts. And Billy, it's good to have you back, and I know that you've enjoyed it. I think your students have kind of enjoyed it. Do they watch and grade you like you grade the players on their performance?
I had a lot of emails today from former students and graduates asking if I was going to be back on, so I think a lot of them are going to listen tonight, and I'm sure I'll get a couple critiques about language or verb usage or I'm
checking the hair.
About.
Yeah. I'm making sure the hair's fine. The hair looks good. What's left of it?
Yeah, it's starting to, part of them, I blame part of that, part of that's on them is stressing me out too much, losing my hair. So it's even going gray at 24. I'm already starting to go a little gray. So.
All right. Keith Bornes is our ValleyWebcasting.com analyst, and you and Keith know each other. I kind of wanted to have you in the same room, but both Coach Gary Swenson and Coach Tom Wilson said probably not a good idea to put you two. Is that right?
Well, he's a great coach, and it was a great game, and they're always a well-coached freshman team, and they got the better of us this year, and but I have a lot of respect for him and what he does at that program, and that's part of the fun of freshman coaching. Sometimes it's so much just line up and play, and with them you got to be tactically sound and you got to have a good game plan, and they got the better of me this year, but I think next year I'm going to have their number. So.
I just asked for how the game went in an email to Keith, and he just sent me, like 6 lines, but it was very short and succinct and to the point. He said, 2 of 6 plays you converted that were key, and they converted on 4 of 6, and that was pretty much the difference in the ball game. It was a Valley win, 21-10.
21-10, and I would say he's right on that accord. But I would also say that the only real stat you need to know from the Dowling sideline is we turned the ball over 7 times.
He did mention that.
Yeah, if you turn the ball over 7 times, to quote Jim Mora, it doesn't matter who you play, but you turn the ball over like that, and you can't expect to win a football game. So,
all right, winning football games. The sophomores won tonight. How did the Dowling Catholic varsity Maroons win tonight, Billy?
Well, they're going to have to run the ball. They're going to have to stop the run. Valley is a team that likes to line up and power the football right at you, so they're going to have to stop the run. On offense, they're going to have to control the ball with this high-tempo offense. We saw it a little bit in the sophomore game. And you get a scenario when you really need to kind of work the clock, but that's not what this offense is about now. This offense is about snaps and snaps, and so you're going to make sure you're staying healthy, staying hydrated, keeping fresh legs on the field, but at the same time, you don't want to be running yourself out of your game plan. So I think by controlling the ball, running a lot of plays, and then obviously keeping Valley off the field, that's the easiest way to keep them out of the end zone. So it's going to be a great game.
And I think it was something about 81 or 74 players or 74 plays the Maroons ran last week, and they want to do it again.
And that's the goal. It's to have it. The play clock is down to 20. It's 5 seconds after they snap the ball. We want to run a play. So they've changed the way they're signaling in plays this year. It's faster, it's more efficient, and it's streamlined. And it's paying dividends in terms of play calls, and hopefully that translates to more scoring.
All right, Billy, we'll see you on the inside
Yeah,
in just a couple of minutes.
All right, sounds good.
Catch your breather, and I'm going to bring on the next guest.
Sounds good, thank you.
All right, Billy, that's Billy Battistone, our color analyst on the site. He'll join us in just a couple of minutes. You can't but help feel the enthusiasm that he has. As I'm standing here on top of Drake Stadium, I am looking towards the south along University Avenue. Come on in here, Chris. And I am still seeing people lined in, so Chris Coleman, how did you get into this game so soon and not have to stand in a line?
Well, I had money with me.
So money always talks.
I took a ticket and I came in. Actually, some great Dowling families had a tailgate for senior parents tonight. So we were over there and had a great time with about 50, 60 couples.
You've got a senior already?
Yeah, actually I have 2 in college, and our third is a senior. So a new generation of Colemans. My dad went to Dowling, we went to Dowling. My 5 kids will be there. So I have 2 that are graduated and a senior and a sophomore now.
It's been a long time since I've seen those kids, and I still remember them much smaller than what they were.
We brought them to a lot of ball games with them on a backpack on our back or in a stroller, so it's great. What a great environment tonight.
This one's fun when it's at Drake Stadium, and it's fun when it's at Valley, and it's the Valley home side too, because that place fills up, but it pretty much fills up for either team's home games. But what's fun about coming to the game here?
Well, we're Beaverdale people. We're, kind of in the neighborhood, so it's always a point of pride. And when, the city was involved, so I got this job on the city council. And,
I meant to say that.
I
city council member Chris Coleman.
So I was so excited about this because I knew that occasionally Dowling could play here, and it's just such a great environment. The end zone will, fill in here. There's a ton of people still wandering around the concourse out there. It's a great environment, and I just love it. And this team is good.
Oh. This one, did you go last week?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
So what did you take away? Coach Wilson was saying, Billy and I were just talking about the number of offensive plays. Coach Wilson, I don't know if you know this, they didn't. Well, of course you know they didn't huddle last week. Guess how many times they've huddled this season?
Well, they didn't huddle last week.
And I should say even in practice. Twice.
Really? Well, it's impressive. They are focused and intentional. My son is a senior, so he's played sports with a lot of these boys, and I've watched most of their games over their career. And I wasn't totally sold, to be honest with you. I was so impressed last week with the way they dominated. I think Southeast Polk had 5 yards of rushing or something. It was just amazing.
5, 9, depends on who you want to pay attention to. Because I was told 5, and other people telling me 9. So, 5 to 9, it's still single digits.
Yeah, it's really impressive. And, it's easy team to root for. We know a lot of these kids. They're great kids, the kind of people that model the best of Dowling and the kind of generation we hope is being raised here in the Des Moines area.
All right, Chris Coleman is our guest, city council member, as we still have quite a ways to go before this game. So if you think we've just gotten started, we're going to now start talking city politics. No,
okay.
All sorts of things going on. Tell me about your day job, though. It's not just on the city council. You have another one that I've talked to you before, and other people have seen you on the news, not just talking city business.
Yeah, I'm lucky to be at the Better Business Bureau, and it's a great time to be there because we're able to help a lot of people. We have some great businesses throughout Iowa. They do business kind of the old-fashioned way, the way you want to see things done. They stand by their word. But the internet has allowed all kinds of charlatans to come in and scam people, and it's a horrible situation that a lot of people find themselves in. Predominantly the elderly and poor people find themselves as victims of scams, and so I'm lucky to be at the Better Business Bureau, where we're trying to help provide tips and guidance and help resolve some of these disputes.
Do you see anything different in the time that you've in that job? Have the scams just gone from the mail to the email?
That's a big piece of it, but they've also, scam artists are investing a lot more money. We see a lot of, in our world, we call them like advanced fee scams. So somebody gives you some money that's not really money, and they tell you to do something with it. But the checks that they send you, the money orders, all that looks so real. It spoofs the banks a lot of times. They'll take it, they'll put it in their drawer, they'll process it, and it's not for days later that somebody figures out they were really scammed by somebody, and that's a problem. And so that's changed. The other thing is all these online sales sites, and I'm not anti-Craigslist or eBay. We bought stuff there and sold stuff there, but you have to be real careful who you're dealing with because that's the home field for scam artists.
And one of the times we always see, I just always remember sending out people for newsroom coverage is, there's been a storm and somebody's going to repair your roof and they're not accredited or bonded or insured, and that's important, and that's a big part of your job too.
Yeah, we want to help guide people to businesses that are reliable and have a proven track record. So on our website, or if you call the Better Business Bureau, we have reports on 17,000 companies now where you can call and find out if it's an F-rated business or an A-plus rated business. And we have businesses through that whole spectrum. And we try and encourage people to check us before they hire or before they buy, so they know they're dealing with a reputable business.
All right, Chris, I know you don't really want to just talk about business. You want to talk about this game tonight. We've talked about the Dowling offense and defense, and Valley's a good football team. What is it, and I've asked this already, but just a little different, what is it fun? Why do you think people do stand in line for blocks and minutes, hours at a time to come to this?
Well, we probably have people that cheer for all kinds of teams watching. But I'll tell you, people come in and cheer for Dowling because this is a real community. I've seen 10 or 12 people that I went to high school with tonight already. And you run into people. My brother and my sister are here and their nieces and nephews. It's a great environment that, you kind of come together like we're all on the same team. And people are counting on us being here. And we really believe in our brains that the team's going to be playing better because I'm here. So we feel connected to this, and it's very fun.
One thing that I've noticed in doing both Valley and Dowling games, and I've been around the state to see things, there are very few. I think of a Bettendorf has this. I think a couple of the other schools have this. The team has, once you graduate, you've already got 2 graduates out. You still are going to, and when you get all 5 out, you're still going to come to the games.
Oh, yeah. When I moved back to Des Moines, I went to college, lived away for about 3 or 4 years. When I moved back to Des Moines, I wasn't going to miss the first Friday night game. I couldn't wait to get out there, connect with old people, see how the Maroons were doing. It's very fun. Dowling is lucky because the teachers that are there, the staff, have a huge commitment to what they're doing. Often they're working for a lot less money than what they might make other places. They believe in it, so they're there a long time. There's still a whole department full of people that taught me 30 years ago. This is my 30-year class reunion year, but they're real committed. And so you see a lot of teachers and other people that make this a real family experience.
Where'd you go to college again?
I went to St. Ambrose.
That's what I thought, in Davenport.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, is that you went to St. Ambrose.
Yeah.
And Chris, you came when I was back at Wartburg a couple of times speaking to a group. I know you had a student or a worker for you a long time ago that has since passed, and that's the first time that we'd met, and I hadn't thought of her until I saw you.
Yeah.
And, but those are those bonds and things that go, anybody wearing maroon and white tonight, they have bonds like that.
Yeah, they do. You mentioned Melissa, who you remember, and I remember very fondly. A very courageous woman that died way too young. But yeah, all of us that have a chance to go somewhere, whether you're at a big school and in a fraternity or sorority, or you go to a Wartburg or a St. Ambrose, you start to learn that the connections with other people are the most important things about life, and it makes all the difference in the way you view the world and your own life.
Where do you sit tonight, or where are you going to try to sit?
I'm standing right here. I don't know. I don't have a seat yet. Mr. Tarpey grabbed me and said, "Come upstairs," and I ditched my wife.
So you might not have anywhere to stand.
That's right. Actually, my favorite place, you can't turn the camera, is I usually sit or stand up here on this railing about the end zone. But you're up real high, and it's very nice.
A gorgeous night here tonight, light breeze. It should be a nice game. I'm going to still give you a few times to get into your spot. All right, final keys to the game, Chris Coleman.
The keys to the game are like any football game. Usually, it's the line. And with 2 giant football teams playing, I think Dowling's going to dominate the offensive line, and our defensive front 7 are fantastic in the middle. And the thing about Dowling that impresses me that we've been weak on occasionally, we have some big defensive backs. And, some years we've gone out there with good athletes, but they're small, and we go against high-quality receivers, and we can't keep up with them. This year we have big guys, and it's going to be a difference maker.
Rigo Gafford's pretty fun to watch.
Whoa! The Register, another media company, had a picture of him. I don't know if you saw it this week, but he's making a tackle, and so he's playing on the defensive side at the time, and he has the guy wrapped up, and his muscles in his arms and his legs were all juiced up because he was working hard. That kid is fast, lightning fast, rocket fast, but he is. He's a man out there too. It's fun to watch him.
All right, Chris Coleman, thank you so much for allowing Peter to grab you, and good to see you, and maybe we'll see you down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. I love what you guys are doing, and I know the numbers are huge watching these webcasts, and I appreciate and want to give a shout-out to all those sponsors that are making it happen.
And give a shout-out. Greg's not here, so you don't have to pay him, but give a shout-out to somebody you think might be watching or someone that you know is watching.
I think my dad is watching. Ron Coleman. He's out in West Des Moines tonight. They didn't come down, but they live in Arizona a little bit. So once October comes, they're in Arizona, and they watch all the games on the internet. So Ron Coleman, class of 1957 at Dowling. We're all fans. So
Chris Coleman, class of 73.
83.
83. I'm thinking, well, Ryan was talking about 73 earlier, and then when
Yeah,
you
I
said
said 30
30,
years.
you did say 30, and, math is not my thing. That's why I went into broadcast.
You were at the journalism department at Wartburg. They didn't make you take math.
That's why I married my wife, the accountant.
I love it.
All right.
I love it.
Chris Coleman, thank you so very much, and helping us fill some of this time and get you informed about what's happening. They're having the coin toss right now on the field. We're just a few minutes away. We are going to hear from head coach of the Valley Tigers, Gary Swenson. We're also going to hear from the head coach of Dowling Catholic, Tom Wilson. We'll hear from him in just a moment. We're going to pause just for a little bit here on the field as you're going to see some of those CFL players, the Catholic Youth Football League. They're going to make their way out of the field right now, and we're going to hear from Coach Tom Wilson as you watch this. We'll hear from Coach Tom Wilson in just a moment here. You're watching ValleyWebcasting.com. I also want to let you know, give us a sign out on Twitter. Give us a shout out at Dowling Webcast, or you can follow us on Facebook at Dowling Webcasting. My name is Paul Yeager. Tom Wilson and Gary Swenson coming up next here on the pregame show from Drake Stadium. Back here on the pregame show, Paul Yeager along with Billy Battistone. We're also going to talk with head coach Tom Wilson in just a second. We're going to hear what he has to say. Here's Coach Tom Wilson talking about the Valley Tigers as we get ready for kickoff here from Drake Stadium.
Coach, the best part of your victory at Southeast Polk was what?
I really thought defensively we played well as a whole. We gave up the one big play early, but then I thought we controlled the line of scrimmage after that, and I think held them to 9 yards rushing, which you can do something like that, certainly good things will happen.
Do the defense and the offense will follow?
Well, you certainly hope so, and we've always felt that defensively we were ahead of the offense, and I thought you could see that certainly on Friday night. They put us in good positions that we didn't take advantage of, especially in the first half, but certainly they helped us out, and hopefully that will continue.
What did you like best about the offense? I mean, you ran a lot of plays, got a lot of things in game situation, review on your tape. What did you like about the offense?
Well, I thought our tempo was good, and you mentioned running a lot of plays, and that's really a major goal for us. But we were also able to hit a couple of big plays. Rico Gafford, 2 touchdown receptions, and then Ryan Boyle taking off on the long run at the beginning of the second half was really big for us.
Does Boyle get too much attention on the from your side of calling his name or putting him in position to make plays, or there's no easing him back in? He's a full competitor and wants to play.
Yeah, he would think something was wrong if we tried to ease him back into it. I mean, that's just who he is and what he is, and a lot of his rushes weren't designed rushes for him. He just started making something out of very little, and there was times where we thought he bailed out of the play too soon. We called a screenplay one time, and it ends up being a Ryan Boyle run. So sometimes what you call is not what you're going to get.
Who graded out well for you?
Really defensively, John Swisher was dominating, one of our defensive tackles. We thought JoJo Jock played very well. Also thought Max Morris did some good things. Jake Luton. Eric Austin is one that I think we'll start hearing more about. I thought he played well defensively. On the offensive line, really, especially in the second half, I thought we started to take control. Curvin was back to his dominating self, and then we took him out fairly early in the second half just to protect him a little bit. And Elijah Suela making his first start at left tackle did some good things.
So you like that, the way that came out. Best part about playing Valley is?
Well, I just think being a part of the traditional rivalry. We know that a Gary Swenson team is going to be very well coached, and things that we perceive to be strengths may not be strengths by the time the game's over, and it's probably the same for them, but it's just a pleasure to be a part of it.
And the atmosphere that you have when you play this at Drake Stadium, it's a college atmosphere.
That's crazy, to be honest with you. The media that surrounds this, and really people that probably come from afar to try to see it, and our pass list and our sideline requests are in record form, and Coach O'Connor's been dealing with that most of this week. So it's going to be a great atmosphere and fun to be in.
How do you keep your guys in check to not get wrapped up in it?
I just think from practice, and our routine's no different whether we're playing Valley or we're playing Fort Dodge or Mason City. It's the same. And the surroundings become different, and really what we tell our kids is, your job is to worry about what happens here. What happens everywhere else doesn't make a difference.
Tyus Mason has been a concern for you for the 3 years that he's played, and year 3 here. How do you stop him?
Oh, it's really hard. We have to do a great job at the line of scrimmage. He can cut back at any time. He's got good enough speed to get outside. He's just slippery, and you very rarely get a good hit on him, and it's going to have to be gang tackling and 11 hats to the football.
Is there somebody defensively that's usually assigned to him, or do you just stay at home? Do you change the base of the Dowling D?
No, we don't assign someone to him. It's just team defense is all it is.
All right, quarterback-wise, they've made changes. Not exactly sure who you're going to see. Does that change how you approach it?
Not at all. The quarterbacks are similar. Honestly, I don't know who we will see, but the offense runs through Tyus, and then everything comes off of that. Drew Gray is a good back as well. I could see them split Tyus out, try to throw in the bubble screens, try to get him loose on jet sweep. So they'll probably be creative in how they try to get him the ball, and those are some things that we prepared for, and I'm sure they've got some things for us that we haven't.
They know they can run, or at least that's what they'd like to do. Throwing the football, it's kind of hard to do when you got a guy like Rico Gafford out there at corner. What's that mean for Luke DeVenny?
Well, I think you saw last week Luke's going to get tested a little bit more, and I thought Luke acted like he was a 2-year starter last week and had 2 picks and really played well. And so Rico will get tested at some point as well, and Nick Wilson back there at free safety is going to get his shots too.
Talk about Wilson moving from the quarterback spot of the offense to the defense, how he's running things and making calls for you. How does he see the field from where you see him in practice in that first game?
I thought he played well in the first ball game. He came up and was a physical player, and that's one of the things that we needed to see. And you're right, that's one of the things we talked to him about. You're going from the quarterback to the offense to a quarterback of the defense, and he's kind of a quiet kid, and Joey Miller has helped him with that transition. Joey played free safety a year ago, and he's also got DeVenny back there, and also Luton has played an awful lot of football. So they're helping him along, and he's only going to get better as we go.
How does this defense rate right now? Are they? A coach would always say they could always do better. Where is that improvement? But they're playing pretty good right now.
Well, they are, and I thought Southeast Polk, they end up getting their share of passing yards, but we made them one-dimensional. If we can do that tonight, that greatly increases our chances, and it's going to be a tall task to be able to do that just because I think Valley's offensive line is good, and we've already talked about Tyus. So if we can get them in passing situations and get off the field on third down, we've done our job.
Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Paul Yeager and Billy Battistone back here in the press box as we get ready for Valley and Dowling, as the Dowling band has made their way onto the field. And hold on here, Billy. It's one of those things where we're always going to be working. But here we are back inside as the band is on the field, and we're going to pause when they do the national anthem and get you ready for this football game. But we're also going to get a chance to hear from head coach Gary Swenson and see what he has to say about this game. And this is a contest, as you look across here at Drake Stadium, you see the orange, you see the white, you look on the near side, you see the maroon, you see the white. A lot of good room yet to be filled, but they're still filing into this football game that should have started 10 minutes ago. And they're just trying to find a place to sit to see this good football game.
Well, if you look around the stadium, you can see, I mean, it's a lot of people standing, a lot of people still getting in the seats. And during our break, I was standing outside, and the line to get in the stadium is all the way down to the stoplight, which is about 5 blocks down the road. So it'll get full, and it's Dowling, it's Valley. I mean, we'll talk about it all night long, but it's a special football game, and people crowd the stadium to see it. I love the fact that it's at Drake because it really provides that environment to give the most people an optimal spot to watch the game. So,
aren't you concerned that Drake's going to ask you for money, being an alum back on campus?
That didn't take very long after I graduated, but I said I can donate some of my time. You know, I don't have a ton of it, but I give some of it as much as I can. And I told them once I finish my grad school, we'll talk. So,
and that's something that we talked about last year. You're underway in the administration side of things.
Yep, just starting my second year in that program, and then looking to start applying for doctorate programs starting next year. So, making moves in my professional career. So,
you want to be the boss. That's what's always fun.
Yeah, Dr. Dowdle and Dr. Deegan keep giving me a hard time that I'm coming for their jobs. That's not the case.
Well, Dr. Deegan, he's still got plenty of good years left. But if he sees the right replacement coming,
That's right.
Maybe Dean Bossum or something like that. Let him focus on something else. But the Dowling Catholic Marching Band is out playing the national anthem right now. We'll pause and listen to the Dowling Catholic Marching Band as they honor America with the playing of our Star-Spangled Banner. The Dowling Catholic Marching Band honoring America with the playing of our national anthem. We will now listen to head coach Gary Swenson. Coach, this is an environment that is pretty exciting. I mean, your home place is pretty exciting, but this one's special too.
Well, it's just bigger. I mean, it's got a collegiate atmosphere, obviously, because it's a college field, and it'll allow everybody a chance to sit down and watch the game. There'll be a good crowd here. We like playing here. Everybody makes a big deal that they don't want to play at our place, but I'm fine with that. I don't mind coming here. It's good for our kids to have to come out here in this environment, on this field, and play. And I think it helps us as we go through the season.
Regardless of where you play, what does this game mean to you and your team?
Well, we're still finding out what kind of team we have. And I think when you play a quality team, one of the better teams, if not the best team in the state, you find out in a hurry where you're at. And our goal tonight is to stay in this thing as long as we can, because if you do, you never know what will happen at the end. They have quite a bit of firepower, obviously, in a Division I caliber quarterback, so we'll have our hands full.
Did any personnel change or things develop for you from last week's game that maybe something changed?
No big changes. There'll be a few kids that'll be in maybe bigger roles than they were last week, but from a starting position, we're still where we were at last week. We lost our kicker, I think everybody knows. Cole Hahn was the 9th grader that kicked for us last year, and he tore his ACL, unfortunately. So Finn Doherty's a senior, and he's a capable kicker. He'll do fine. But other than that, we came out of that game pretty clean, injury-wise, so that's not going to be an excuse tonight. We got everybody available.
And 2 quarterbacks.
And 2 quarterbacks. We want to find one eventually, but there's still 2 there.
Any not strategy, but scenarios that one plays over another?
No, we don't have anything scripted. We're going to kind of play it by ear. Talon will start the game. I'm sure Connor will play, but I think they're going to get better. This is a tough learn-on-the-job place, though. You got to be able to perform out here. This isn't a game where you can just get experience. You got to be able to make plays.
Do you have to stop Ryan Boyle to win this game?
Well, he's the key. I mean, he's going to have the ball in his hands every play, and between the mix of run and pass that he has, he's pretty hard to handle.
Coach, thank you.
You bet, Paul.
You know, it was 6 years ago when I came to choose a new dental practice, and I found one where I really felt comfortable with the dentist and the staff. A family atmosphere at Advanced Family Dentistry. I'm Marty Terrell, I'm the mouth of the Midwest, and this is 1/3 of the dental team here, and Dr. Gregory Brandt. A commitment to excellence with you and your partners.
Well, thank you, Marty. We came to Ankeny because it was a great family place to come and great schools, and it's continued to be that way. And been very blessed because the practice has grown to the point where in 2006, Dr. Scott Yagi came on board too, and then Dr. Amanda Stewart just about 3 years later. So we've kind of grown with the community, continued to be just a great place to raise a family and live and work.
It's AnkenySmiles.com, 907 North Ankeny Boulevard. It's the home of the champions. It's Ankeny, Iowa, and Advanced Family Dentistry.
Well, you see one big play negated by a hold by number 54 there. It was what the referee signaled, but nice that they can come right back and dial up another big play. A toss to Gafford, who's been all over the field on both sides of the ball and returning. I don't know if he's really had much of a play off yet. And momentum going into the fourth quarter, back to Dowling here as they're driving, setting up on the 27-yard line. So it'll be interesting here. They've obviously been able to pass, been able to run, kind of got a couple options going. Now their offense, up-tempo offense, has been able to move the ball pretty easily. So in the fourth quarter, close game, kind of what we'd hoped for. History might not have shown that, but obviously I think we've still got a lot of excitement left.
You think? All right, Billy Battistone alongside Paul Yeager here in the press box down on the field. That was Seth Drury. You're watching dmwebcasting.com. This broadcast brought to you by Win Communications, Web Communications, and Win Mail email marketing services, and better results and less work in all your web, email, and social media services. Visit wincommunications.com and winmailusa.com. Hey, want to let you know that we are following the Twitter feed tonight at Dowling Webcast. Want to let you know, hey, Avery Mason. He's playing for my alma mater and Coach Pollock's alma mater at Wartburg. They're playing tomorrow at McMurray. Also, let's not forget Matthew Farmonic. I guess Coach Willis doesn't have a non-Twitter policy for the Knights. Also, Liz Smith. She says it's not quite the same watching this game online, but Liz, we're glad to have you. We're watching tonight. Emily Kalos, a big night watching this game.
Emily Kalos, big Alabama fan. She goes to Alabama now.
So she's saying hello to you.
Sure.
And shout out from Trent Simpson. He's watching the game in Cedar Falls with the UNI special teams, the Dowling Valley Long Snappers, and as they're getting ready to play Drake tomorrow, I believe. And thanks to those of you that are on the shout-out. We begin quarter number 4. Dowling leads 24-19 in this ball game, and the Maroons have the ball. Boyle is going to improvise and go up the middle and hit. They'll get up to the 20, still get 5 or 6 yards on a play that didn't look like it was supposed to be anything.
That's his just natural ability, and that is that QB read. He takes a lot of hits in the process of a game. You add up all the times Ryan Boyle's been on the ground. It's a lot, but that's the kind of player he is.
We have a whistle before the play.
Suela a little anxious to get off the ball there. False start on Dowling.
Hey, big shout out to John Williams watching tonight as well. He's watching it, and he's actually looking for Coach Pollock to see what he's wearing. Coach Pollock's got his own fan club, too.
He's the only coach in white.
That's what
so
I
if
thought.
You know Coach Pollock, he's the only coach in white with a backwards visor. So he stands out down there.
Does he know something we don't, or does he got the memo on what color to wear tonight?
I think he just likes to stand out.
Well, that would be Andy. Boyle's going to throw the football. He's got time. He goes to Rico. Caught at the 15. Spins down to the 10. Oh, a second effort, and he almost just squirted out for a touchdown. Oh, my. Rico. Man, he's a fun player to watch. Played at East last year. Made the transfer after winter break. Just wanted a chance to play. They are excited about his speed. When you see him on offense, he's usually going to get the ball. That's been the case, but now you're also out there as a decoy. High snap. Give to Chase Dowell. He's up to the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown, Maroons. Touchdown, Chase Dowell. 8-yard touchdown for the senior. He wants this game just as bad as anybody.
That's a great answer by the Dowling Catholic Maroons after Valley goes down, gets the, drives down, ends up having to settle for the field goal, and then Dowling gets the ball right back and marches right down the field. Just an overall great performance by that offensive unit. Everybody contributed, everybody did their job, and that was a great drive. Glad to see it come away with 7 points, well deserved.
The extra point by Nick McClellan is up and good. As we are in the fourth quarter, 11:05 to play. Maroons lead now 31-19. DM Webcasting is brought to you by Schottenkirk Chevrolet of Waukee at 755 West Hickman. Out there in Waukee, they are trusted for generations to deliver high-quality Chevrolet cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. Find them at SchottenkirkChevy.net. And also Bob Oliver Heating and Air Conditioning with 24-hour emergency service and equipment. Beat the heat and stay warm all winter with Bob Oliver Heating and Air Conditioning online at boboliverheatingandair.com.
Real quickly, I just got a text message. Harrison Farrell, who played last year, is at West Point Academy. He's watching out in New York, and I give Harrison a lot of credit. He decided to join the Army, and he's a very brave individual. Got to know him really well last year in wrestling and in rugby, and I wish him the best. And, again, one more, if you don't mind. This one could actually get me in trouble, but my girlfriend's watching. I told her I'd wish her a happy birthday. She's been a good sport with football coaching starting, so I'm proud of her. So happy birthday, Marty.
We could use a spotter in the booth. If you want her to come up, she can point at things, and maybe I'll actually get some names right every once in a while.
I get told what to do enough. I don't need to be told what to do.
You're not even married yet, son.
Yeah.
We won't bring that up.
I don't think she's going to like that comment either, but that's okay.
Nick McClellan kicks it through the back of the end zone. Down on the sideline is Seth Drury and Seth Savis. Oh, speaking of getting married, congratulations, young man, on your engagement this offseason.
Thank you. We celebrated the minus 1 year anniversary as we have some planning to do before next August. But thank you. So, last drive, I think Gafford was relieved they scored on the very next play because I didn't trip him up on the sideline. That was the big old turf monster. He did a great job spinning out of a tackle by Hanold from Valley there and getting up the sideline, and all he saw was green. I think he got a little too excited there.
1st and 10 for the Tigers. They go back with Tyus Mason up the front, and I'll tell you what, Tyus Mason is a really hard guy to bring down and proves it right there again. Gets another almost 9.5 yards up to the 29.5-yard line. 2nd and short, 10:47. Dowling leads 31-19. Tigers, good possession the last time until they got to the 5-yard line, and then the Dowling defense responded. The Tigers settle for 3. They come back now. Connor LeGrone will stay in at quarterback. He's got an I formation behind him, one receiver to the left and right. They go underneath to Gray, and Gray is going to get enough for the first down, but not much more than that. Drew Gray, who had a pretty good game against Waukee last week, has not had a lot of carries tonight, and maybe that's something Coach Swenson knows. Mason's very hard. Dowling has a hard time bringing Mason down.
Yeah, he is. He's just a hard – they're both very, very good runners, and I think Drew Gray is more of a change of pace for them to give Tyus a break, but they're both – Valley is always tough running backs and tough offensive linemen.
LeGrone under center. Play action. They're going down the field. They're throwing the football, and it's caught and held on by Dominic Daphne, the brother of DJ. Dominique's making his own name, and he gets a first down for the Tigers into Dowling territory to the 44-yard line.
It's a great coverage by Dowling. Good double coverage, converged on the ball, but an even better catch by Daphne. That was one of the best high school over-the-middle catches you can expect a kid to make.
And Devaney was there, right?
They were both. They were all over him, and he was able to not only catch a ball in the air, but hold on through contact. That was pretty impressive.
Devaney on the top side of the field with Holmes. Legrone feeling some confidence. Going to throw the football again, but throw well short of Daphne. Coming up there, Gafford was jumping it, but playing the safe defense on that play was Eric Austin, the senior linebacker, 6'2", 210.
Grant Boston dialing up some pressure there. He brought 2 linebackers, so Dowling rushed 6, and it kind of flushed him out of the pocket a little bit, and throwing on the run, he just kind of one-hopped it there. So I wonder if Grant will dial up a little bit more pressure as the game moves on here throughout the fourth quarter, or if he's going to be content to sit back and base, because maybe he knows that there are some mismatches in terms of speed. You want to blitz and get that ball out there quickly. That way you can't get beat down the field.
9:33 to play in the ball game. Dowling leads 31-19. Legrone's going to go for broke on the far sideline. It's going to be intercepted by Luke Devaney at the 19. Goes backwards. Holmes can't make the stop. Devaney's still on his feet. You got to tackle him because he'll keep running to the house. Hartman finally does. Luke Devaney, the INT. Nice stop. Good interception by Luke Devaney.
And that is the first, I think that's the first bad throw Legrone's made. I mean, that was just a ball that needed to go further. Legrone had good protection, and he just really kind of underthrew that one, and Devaney saw the ball the whole way, was able to come back, and Holmes tried to come back on the play, but just couldn't make a tackle or couldn't make a play on the ball. Devaney had good positioning, but you wonder if Legrone comes back out and if that shakes his confidence a little bit for the last 9 minutes and 21 seconds of this game.
Dowling has the football, and now the Tiger defense has to dial up a stop. The Maroons feeling the momentum now. Devaney is an impressive corner. They go with Nate Christian. He counters up. Dakota Miller makes the stop, but not until 2 yards are made. And Christian just popped up saying, you can tackle me, but I still got plenty of fresh legs. Football is such a fun game like that.
A ton of energy. And like you said, momentum for high school kids, they're feeling it. That's, sometimes that's better than just actually being in shape. The adrenaline will carry them.
2 receivers to the left for Boyle. They're going to throw it to the near side, and it's caught by the closer receiver, Mason Magruder, and he runs into his own player before he is stopped by the Tigers, and that was Nate Spacek. 8:30 to go in this ball game. Dowling leads 31-19 as we come across 10 o'clock in Middle America. Glad to have you here on the World Wide Web, wherever you may be around that world. Glad to have you. Or if you're watching us on the rebroadcast, glad to have you. We are here for all home Dowling and all home Valley football games this year on dmwebcasting.com. Ryan Boyle's going to throw the football, air it out that far sideline, and it's going to be too tall of a pass. He goes up and over Magruder, incomplete. It'll be 4th down, and the Maroons got a little bit of momentum and then hit a little hiccup in that giddy-up.
A little bit of a lull there, but, that ball, I think Magruder kind of misjudged it, maybe a little early of a jump, but good coverage by Valley, and they're going to get the ball back here. And at 12 points with 8 minutes left, you've been around longer than I have with these games, but in a Dowling Valley game, anything can happen in 8 minutes. So
the punt is away, and it's a nice one. It's going to be taken by Sorgi back at the 30-yard line. Mason's in front of him, and Sorgi's got some room, but Mason cannot contain Jake Luton. Well, not many people can contain Jake Luton. And let's go down to the sideline, Seth Drury, for another report and find out what's happening.
Thanks, Paul. Legrone on that pass, he threw the perfect post pass, and the next one had Holmes and just underthrew it. But luckily, obviously, that interception doesn't really hurt Valley. Only that's where a fast-paced offense, kind of hurts you. If they go 3 and out, defense didn't, got the interception, didn't get a good long break on the side of the field here. Only about a minute and a half, 2 minutes ran off on the clock. We'll see maybe. As if Dowling gets the ball back next possession, if they opt to slow it down a little bit, try and eat some of this clock, or stay aggressive and see if they can't keep moving the ball.
What do you think of that?
I think that's a great point, but I think, and Dowling's going to continue to run their offense at 12 points. If it's inside 2 minutes, then maybe they slow it down a little bit, but otherwise they're going to continue to do what they do, I think.
The Maroons dial up the pressure. Hello, John Swisher. Connor LeGrone just met you. And now I don't know if he can quit you. LeGrone goes down, so now the Maroons are going to bring a little bit of pressure here because they're just kind of feeling out LeGrone how he's going to do. Is this the time now that if you're Coach Swenson, do you tuck it and run it? LeGrone can run the football, but you also want to build his confidence in throwing the ball.
Yeah, and you do. I mean, there does need to be some form of urgency on the Valley offense, but I think Grant's going to continue to test him and continue to bring different looks and mix up the coverages, see if they can't catch him off guard. Here comes another blitz off the edge.
And they go to Mason on after a loss of 9, and Mason gets it back and then some. He's got the first down. He's got a lot of room down that far sideline. 30 down to the 25-20 to the 18-yard line. Boom, blink, and all of a sudden Tyus Mason is by you on 2nd and 19.
Look at you. Are you calling this offense? Look at you. Just setting up the run, and that's all it was. I mean, you got a blitz-heavy team. You run a short, quick little hitter or a nice draw play, and you got linebackers out of position, and you called it. They're just a little vulnerable to the run. I think Grant Bossum will want that one back. He was just maybe a little anxious with the outside linebacker, inside linebacker blitz combo. So,
and that's something they don't like to do as a regular thing. They pick their spots, but I think that's a good call by Coach Bossum right there. I think you do continue to do it, and you probably do it here. LeGrone's going to throw the football across the middle, and he's too much for the receiver, and a penalty comes in, and Rico's wondering what happened, and so are the Maroon fans on the near side. Oh, man. All right. The DM Webcasting is brought to you by the Des Moines Pediatric and Adolescent Care in Des Moines, Clive, and Ankeny. Accessible pediatric care, a child-friendly environment, and responsive team of pediatricians at dsmpeds.com. Dowling 31, Valley 19, 7:02 to play in this contest. It is pass interference is the call against the Maroons. Rico's a very good cornerback. No one's going to argue that. But I have to give Coach Swenson credit. They do not appear to be intimidated by his abilities. They're going after him.
They're going to continue. He is, what he is, he's a very physical corner. He gets into receivers. He likes to play into bodies. And it's those kinds of corners that are susceptible to the pass interference calls. And, I think a couple of them have been a little bit more ticky-tack than others. I think Seth down there got a first-hand view, and he's kind of shaking his head on a couple of those calls. But, that's what they're going to keep doing. They'll pick on the physical corner.
LeGrone to Mason on the swing to the 10-5, and he is into the end zone. Touchdown Tigers. Tyus Mason 11 yards out, and we have a ball game again, folks. Great one here at Drake Stadium. The Maroons still lead, but the Tigers are knocking. 31-25 is your score pending the PAT, and nothing is automatic in this contest.
Nope.
This is one of the best back-and-forth Valley Dowling games I've seen in a while, probably since 2010. Connor Brevard will remember that one in the game to go to the Dome, as the extra point is up from Finn Doherty, and that one is good. So it's 31-25. Let's go down to Seth Drury on the sideline, and Seth, blink, boom, gone, Tyus Mason.
Yeah, and one name you won't hear, Blaze Nolan set that up with a block. There's one man to beat, and he cut back, found a blocker, and opened up that sideline for Tyus Mason. And you mentioned on that draw play, that's a bold offensive play call from Valley. But Bossum on the sideline here did yell at his defense, that's on us, saying, they ran the play as called, and obviously, the chess match continues between Valley and Dowling as they're trading blows here. But back and forth. I think I said there was a little excitement left, and 6:54 left. I'm sure there's plenty more.
All right, Billy, what do you do here?
Oh, you just got to go back to your regular offense. You don't change a thing. I mean, I think you got to understand that this game is far from over, and it's one big play from a completely different ball game. So you take care of the football, you run the football, and a couple short passes. I think if you're Tom Wilson, you definitely need to get Ryan Boyle involved in the offense as always. But I think part of it needs to be running the football as opposed to trying to throw the deep one, because Ryan's accuracy just doesn't seem to be where it usually is tonight. And so maybe a little bit more of that zone read.
Short kick, and it's taken by Chase down on the hop. He escapes one tackler and gets up to the 26-yard line, and the Maroons will have it. Now, one thing, last year, Valley played a very good Sioux City East team in the regular season, and that was a team that ran just as fast of an offense that the Maroons did. And the one thing that Coach had told me last year is, yes, they run a quick play, but only 25 seconds go out off the clock if it's 3 and out. You have to be careful here if you're the Maroons, because 25 seconds could go by and you've run 3 plays, and you give the ball back to the Tigers. There's 6:50 to play. You've got to chew a little bit of time, but yet still stay in your rhythm.
Right.
Here comes Dowell, Dowell is a blocker, and he gets outside, but Boyle is going to keep it. And Boyle gets a great first surge for 5 yards, second and short, up to the 31.
And to your point, I think that's always on the mind of the no-huddle. And a lot of people who are against the no-huddle offense would argue that, if you're not moving the ball, it's actually worse because your defense is going to end up spending more time on the field. But, Tom Wilson has a lot of confidence in his defense, and, he doesn't mind keeping up the tempo, and I think he thinks that it's better if they can gain 3 or 4 yards of play more often than not. So
Boyle on 2nd and 5 gives it to Chase Dowling. He's stopped behind the line. Dakota Miller blew it up, and finishing up the play for the Tigers is Connor Schramm. 6:06 to play in the contest. 31-26, Dowling leads here in the fourth quarter at Drake Stadium. Paul Yeager alongside Billy Battistone, Seth Drury's here, Ramel Slaughter, Eric Fishbeck. We're all here. James is up on the roof. He's having a great view of this one, and so are you watching. Glad you're aboard.
And everybody's on the edge of their seats for this third down. Huge 3rd and 7 here.
Crowds on both sides come to their feet here at a near full Drake Stadium. Boyle rolls out, throws. Caught by the tight end Steenblock. He's into Tiger territory down to the 30 or the 41-yard line. Big play. Zach Steenblock moved the chains for the Maroons.
That's probably the first time the tight end's been involved in the passing game tonight. John Wisniewski was such a staple mark at that position, and they found ways to get him the ball. And now the tight end's really transformed into more of a blocker, and that's a huge play for the Maroons there. Huge pickup.
Under center, they go back to Dowell up the middle. Play call that goes about 1 or 2. 5:21, clock moving. We won't be able to hear from John Wisniewski on Twitter. We do hear from his former teammate, Matthew Hawk. He's watching. They had the game last night, his debut as an Arizona State Sun Devil. 31-26, 5 minutes left to go in this good one. Boyle fakes it to Dowell. He's going to throw the football. Now he's going to go out of that safety valve of Dowell. Caught at the 40, 35-30. Shoved out of bounds at the 28-yard line.
He took a shot.
He did, from Dakota Miller.
A little slow to get up on the sideline there. He looks like he's going to be okay. He's going to try to walk that off, but the trainers are going to immediately attend to him, especially with, especially with all the concussion rules and things like that. He took quite the shot going out of bounds, so he's going to come out of the game for at least a couple of plays so while they assess what's going on with him.
Nate Christian will come in, but Nate's usually in. But we'll also see now Colin Peacock come in and have a little more role. He'll play that fullback position as Boyle is going to go into center. I formation behind him. Boyle, handoff to Nate Christian up the middle. Nice run and good hole. Gabe Honold makes the stop for the Tigers. Short of the first down, probably 3rd and about 1, maybe 2.
And now you see the Dowling coaches, they are doing the double hand, slow it down form. They've driven into Valley territory. They're under 5 minutes, and now you can see they are starting to tell them, slow it down. Now the play clock's at 10. Now we'll take our snap.
2nd and 3. Ball's on the 28-yard line, or the 22, that is. And that play goes nowhere. One of the guys getting off the bottom of that pile first is Cole Wymore. Cole moved from left guard to right guard this season. Is that right?
Yes.
And so he's playing a key role next to Jake Curvin. Jake's one of those guys. He had that knee injury last season. They really missed him on the front line. Glad to have him back. He's a big kid, 6'4", 265. It's on the right side of your screen. They're going to go with it on short, and Boyle is going to probably get it. He does, because Nate Spacek can't make that stop until the chains are moved. But there will be enough space for the Maroons to get another first down before having to go first and goal. So you really have 8 chances from the 16. And I don't think the Maroons are going to need 8 chances to score, but you never know.
Nope. But they're content to use as much clock as they can now, under 4 minutes. Now Valley's got to be thinking about that number, not only the 31-26, but the 3:18 on the board as well.
Boyle under center. Handoff. Chase Dowell up the middle. Chase is going to scamper out inside. Cuts it back down to the 2-yard line. That's enough for a first down to move the chains. Stop the clock at 3:09, 31-26. Not saying this will end it, but this will go a long way to salting this game away for the Maroons if they can punch in and get 6 here.
Yeah, this is going to be a big score for Dowling if they can get this in the end zone.
Tiger defense has got to dial up a stop if they want a chance. They go Chase Dowell up the middle. Dowell on second effort is up and short.
Going to be about half a yard, it looks like. Maybe a little bit more, but that's not all bad to be second and goal from the 1. Let another couple seconds run off the clock. It would be interesting to see. A lot of people would say that Valley should let Dowling score. A lot of people hold that philosophy here of just letting Dowling get in the end zone and save a little bit of time, but it looks like they're going to try to dig in and try to see if they can't hold them to a field goal here.
Boyle, I formation. They go with Dowell up the middle, and he's going to be stopped. Wow, big stop by the Tigers. Let's see, coming up right there, Reese Garver, 6'1", 260. He's a big guy right there on that left side of the Tiger line, right side of the Maroon offense.
Well, now this is a huge play. You thought the third down earlier on this side of the field was going to be a big play. 3rd and goal from the 3, because if Dowling doesn't get it, they're going to run this all the way down and take a timeout. But if Dowling doesn't get it, Valley's going to jump all over a timeout and still have at least a minute 30 on the clock, minute 40 on the clock when they get the ball back. So if Valley can hold them.
Let's go down to Seth Drury. He's got a good something to add right here, Seth.
Oh, they were just asking to take the timeout with 2 seconds left on the play clock, but the play clock stopped 11, so then they ended up just taking the timeout. I'm sure they'll talk about it here. Got a couple of options. You notice when it was third, or I believe it was second and short, they did that QB dive. When you have an athletic quarterback like that, he didn't go up the middle. He had enough time to pull around a little bit and find a little bit more than just the half a yard needed. Be interesting to see. 3rd and 3 is a little different, a little more length to go for there, but I think they dial up a couple options here.
All right, 3rd and 3. Thank you, Seth Drury from the sideline. DM Webcasting brought to you by Sports Spotlight. See high school scores all year long at sportspotlight.com. High school, youth, college, and pro digital content, news, video, and live streaming and replays at sportspotlight.com. Hey, I want to let you know, Cole Piscotti, is that right? Cole's out there. He's watching with Michael Palmy at Western Illinois. The another Wartburg connection, Bob Nielsen, was the coach of the Knights back during my time, one of the times, and he's now at Western Illinois, and so is Michael Palmy. He's watching, so are a lot of Maroon fans. 3rd and 2 from the 2. 3rd and goal. What can they do? Direct snap to Boyle around the left side, stretching out the play. Touchdown. He is in the end zone. Touchdown, Maroons.
Say it, when you need a big play, you go to your playmaker, let him stand up and be counted. Great job by Ryan Boyle to find the end zone.
Keller Preen could not make the stop. Connor Schramm did make the tackle, but it was 2 yards deep in the end zone. So Boyle from 2 yards out on 3rd down. But as Billy would say, the more important thing is the 1 now on the clock. 1:40 to play. And the Maroons are contemplating with a timeout here, because it's 37-26. If you go for 2 and get it, it's 39. Still 2 touchdowns. A lot's got to go your way, but you're at least now asking for a 2-point conversion.
Yeah, there's a lot that could be being discussed in that huddle, but I think, if they're debating the going for 2, I think it would be under the impression that you've got a backup kicker for Valley, so the extra point is never a sure thing. And so to make it 13 as opposed to 12 might be of value. I think it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do here. It looks like the special teams unit's coming on the field. But yeah, again, a great touchdown. And now with 2 timeouts, Valley's got to be thinking, we've got to get down the field quickly. You've got to save at least 30 to 45 seconds with the onside kick to really give yourself a legitimate chance. Otherwise, you end up with the kind of the duck and chuck approach to try to tie the game if you can get down the field and score. So I have a feeling Dowling's going to roll out its prevent defense to start this last drive of the game.
Nick McClellan on to kick for the extra point. Dowling leads 37-26. The extra point is blocked. The Tigers come through, and that's Connor Sorge. Pretty much came untouched from that right side.
And really, now that I'm having a chance to think about it, the 11 points isn't really all that dangerous if Valley can score, because if they can score and then get the 2-point conversion, now they're only a field goal away from tying the game. So that is actually a huge block, and I would assume that means that during that timeout they weren't actually contemplating going for 2. I'm sure it was just a personnel issue, but that could be a huge play if Valley's able to somehow find the end zone and convert on a 2-point conversion here at the end of this game, because now it's just a field. Now it's 11-point game, so still 2 possessions, but doable.
You're kicking it deep, right?
Absolutely. Yep, and I'm definitely kicking it away from number 4. I'm going to kick it as far away from number 4 and white as possible. I think anybody in this stadium who's watched this game knows that he is extremely dangerous in his hands, so I'm probably popping something up between the 20 and 10. That's what's worked for Dowling special teams so far. You talk about that, covering that kick. So, to say it goes deep, I don't know if it goes that deep or if they think they can kick it into the end zone, put them on the 20. But I'm definitely not putting the ball in number 4's hands.
So the PAT fails, blocked by Connor Sorge. Dowling leads 37-26, minute 40 to go. Nick McClellan will tee it up. Mason's back, as is Sorge. They're standing inside the 5. So we'll see what McClellan does, and he kicks it at Mason, but about 20 yards over his head and on to the steeplechase area. Let's go down to the sideline, Seth Drury, for a report. Seth?
Well, we've got a player down for Valley. It looks to be number 47 for Valley there. Checking a name, Connor
Schramm up on the D-line. Yeah.
I don't know if he's cramping. It looked like he held his knee for a little while, but I think he's just got to cramp a little bit with the heat, trying to get that leg to get straightened out. So good deal that nothing too serious as he walks off the field. But, I was wondering if they'd kick it deep there, because we saw a couple pooch kicks earlier in the game, and I do think those were planned as they were able to cover one. You see McClellan has been able to boot the last 2 deep out of the end zone. With the wind at his back a little bit, but obviously hoping the Maroon defense here can hold with a minute 40.
Tigers have the football from their own 20. Legron's going to throw the ball, go down to the right side, caught by Mason. He's got the first down. Rico makes the stop, lets him go at the 35-yard line. Pickup of 15 on that play. Move the chain, stop the clock. The Tigers have got to move quickly if they want to have a chance to cut this to a 1-possession game. Minute 33. As soon as that ball is set, the clock will move at the snap. 37-26. Legron looks at his left wrist for the play, checks it off. Shotgun, Gray next to him. They're looking for Mason or someone downfield. They throw, and it's broken up. Good defense there. Intended receiver was Hartman, and Eric Austin slips out on the tight end and makes a very good defensive stop.
Hartman wanted the flag, and I thought he was going to get one. I thought Eric Austin kind of had his back arm in there, but Dowling's escaped with one, and 2nd and 10.
Hartman is on the left side of the formation, and let's see, that's Holmes and Daphne. They're going to Daphne, caught at the 38, and he's quickly wrapped up, and it's short of the first down, so clock will move. And
a lot of time. They're losing a lot of time here already.
A hemorrhaging time indeed. Mason goes to the left. We're now at a minute 8. 3rd and 8. I guess Coach Swenson saving those timeouts. High snap. They go, and they're going to try to go on the draw. And Drew Gray has it. 45-50 into Maroon territory up to the 44-yard line. On 3rd and 8, the Tigers call a draw.
And if they're going to run a play here, it's going to be either a quick play or a spot. I mean, I'm surprised they're letting this clock run, because now the clock's running again. I thought they were going to get up and try to spike this, but instead they're taking a lot of time to call play in. They've already lost
5, 6,
12 seconds here.
7, yeah.
Yeah.
Even since it's set. Legrone looks to his left. This is what happens when you got a quarterback that hasn't played a lot. 2 receivers left. High snap. Legrone pushes, gets it back. It's caught by receiver, and you've got to call a timeout now.
Wow.
Catch is made by Blaze
they want
Nolan.
it. They want their timeout. They haven't gotten it yet.
And still 3
There
extra
you go.
seconds go off that clock.
I don't know. I think the time management down the stretch there on Valley side, they're going to probably want a lot of that back because they lost a lot of time getting lined up, and then even for Legrone to throw the ball, 4 yards inbounds, you're not doing your team a lot of good there. You don't need 3 yards inbounds. You need to take some shots down the field with under a minute to go. So I think. And you talked about it, the difficulty of having 2 quarterbacks and an inexperienced quarterback in there.
Well, I think that question's been answered tonight. I think it's going to be the senior from here. Now, whether there's someone else in the program that makes a position switch or someone at another level that we don't know about, I don't know that answer. But I think Connor Legrone went a long way to being their quarterback tonight, made some huge plays. But what can he do in the final seconds here? His team trails 37-26. That's an 11-point lead for the Maroons. Mason and Gafford are down on the near side of the field. They're right there at the 40 on the bottom of your screen. Kind of fun to watch them if we get a chance here because that is just a good athlete on good athlete. Legrone, shotgun, takes the snap. He's looking at Mason, but he's now going to be sacked behind the line. The Dowling defense
have to take their last time out here.
Huge stop by the Maroons and Max Morris.
They're not going to take it.
Valley's
going to let the clock run.
And that's going to be the ball game. Oh, my.
Surprising. Very surprising.
They know that it's pretty much
I don't know about it. Again, with a minute, they started that drive with how much time on the clock? Minute and a half?
It was a minute 8. 68 seconds.
Still a chance to do something with 2 timeouts, and I think that's a disappointing end for Valley, but what a game.
No, Valley falls to 1-1. Very, very good football game. These 2 teams started rough. I'm not going to lie to you. That first quarter was I don't think anybody wants to watch that.
No. But once they settled down and got into a rhythm, both teams seemed to pick it up. And, I think that Dowling, you look at the big plays of the game, and Dowling just made the big plays, and they didn't give up the big plays. And, they did what they needed to do to get out with a victory, and hats off to those kids for playing a great game. And Valley's got a good football team. They're not going to go away, and they're going to be competitive for the rest of the year. You're going to get a chance to watch them every home game, and they're going to be
see the Maroons and see how these 2 stack up. You're right.
Yeah, they're going to be in the mix of it, and come October, the late rounds of the playoffs, they're going to be the teams that people are talking about on the west side of the state. So, I'd love to see these 2 teams meet again. In a quarterfinal game or something like that. But what a fun game to watch and be a part of.
Final score tonight, Dowling 37, Valley 26. The Tigers put an effort on tonight, and the Maroons make their way to the sideline to say thank you to their fans. Normally they do a huddle right after, but they're getting the hats, the Armed Services hats, and I think they're I can't tell if they're coming back. A couple of them wanted to act like they were going to keep on going. We'll get a look at some of the stats here and see how this one shook out on 3rd and 8, or on 2nd and 8. It was an uphill climb for Valley at that final part of that game, Billy.
Absolutely.
And they have to score twice, get an onside kick, or some miracle. They still had 1 timeout. Dowling had 1 timeout. But that was for a team that had quarterback questions coming in. Valley played it a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Dowling, I think, kind of struggled a little bit to have. It seemed to be just wasn't the same rhythm that they had last week at Southeast Polk. However, when the engine runs and purrs, that's a mighty tough team.
I think that tells you a lot about what this team's capable of. The fact that we didn't really feel like Dowling was clicking on all cylinders. I don't really think that. I think Ryan Boyle will look back at this game and say that he could have done a lot of things better. He had a great game, especially running the football and controlling that offense. But I think when he looks back on this game, he's going to see some missed throws, and like you said, and you're pointing to it right now. Go ahead.
All right, so some of the statistics. Ramel Slaughter helping us out. That's RHS76 on Twitter, by the way. Valley and Dowling, 1 yard separates them on total yardage. Valley's 366, Dowling Catholic 365. And Lagrone tonight, 5 of 12 passing, 124 yards, 55-yard long one, 2 touchdown passes. He was sacked 3 times. Taylor Alexander got the start tonight, 6 of 11 for 38 yards. Rushing-wise, Michael Christians, Tyus Mason, 19 carries, 120 yards, so he's already over 300 yards as the young season has gone. Anthony Holmes, 1 carry. Drew Gray, 6 carries, 49 yards. Defensive-wise, Dakota Miller makes big plays. But let's talk about Dowling now and some of the efforts that they made. As Ryan Boyle, 8 of 19 passing for 134 yards. The long one was a 27-yard pass. Rico Gafford, 3 carries for 24 yards and a touchdown. Boyle, 6 carries, 31 yards. The long one was the 11-yard. Chase Dowell, 17 carries tonight, 133 yards. His long play was a 42-yard run. Nick Sherinian, 1 carry. And Nate Christian, 5 carries for 35 yards. 36 rushes for 231. Rico Gafford tonight, 19 tackles on unofficial stats.
He's all over the place.
And nobody else even comes close. Devaney, 3 tackles. Sherinian, 2. Grace, 2. That's an impressive. I'm trying to look here for receiving. Yeah, Rico, 4 catches. 4 of 4 receiving, 74 yards. Chase Dowell, 16 yards. So, really, kind of an even match team, both of those sides.
Absolutely, and I think, but again, going back to your point, I would be interested to know, the real stat would be, when was the last time Ryan Boyle had less than 10 completions in a ball game? I think, again, he played a great game and he managed a great team, but I think the point here is that when Dowling is clicking on all cylinders, they are going to be an extremely dangerous team, a team that could knock any team in the state out of contention. So I think Coach Tom Wilson is obviously going to be ecstatic with the win. He'll take the win, but at the same time, I think he knows that they've got a ton of ability, and this team is going to be extremely dangerous. And, again, hats off to Valley. Like you said, they played them, play for play, and I think Valley will also be in the mix of it come the end of the year, too.
Interesting ball game, to say the least, on this one, and we're trying to get down to Seth Drury here in just a moment. We will get to him, and he's going to have Coach Wilson here, hopefully, and we'll also catch up with Keith Bornes and see what he has to say as we try to keep you informed of what's happening here. I know one thing. Let's go down to the field here, and we're going to have Seth Drury now. Let's go down to Coach Wilson.
Thanks, Paul. Coach, kind of a slow start to the game. You kind of said yourself to the team there, preparation, you guys just eventually came out and made the plays you had to. Any reason that it took a while to get into your offense?
I think Valley had a lot to do with it, and we didn't start fast, and I'm proud of how we finished, but this team can still get better, and I'm pretty sure Valley's going to get better, but it's good to get this one out of the way, and we can move on. And like I told our kids, I think we have to prepare better than what we did this week.
And you talk about long road left, second game of the season. What are some of the things, I guess, still second game that you liked, but obviously that you guys can improve on?
Well, I thought we got our run game going, but it took a while, and we kept letting them back in the game. I thought they made some plays. Tyus Mason is Tyus Mason. He's outstanding. I think their offensive line was very good defensively. I think they had a couple of injuries that hurt them as well. So, there's a long ways to go yet. And these teams are going to continue to get better, and we just can't be satisfied.
You talk about kind of the running game, but that's kind of what won it for you in the long run. Boyle had a little bit of trouble throwing the ball tonight, but you had 2 touchdown runs, I believe, and finished strong. Talk about his play, and named player of the game as well.
He's a tough kid, and he can throw it and he can run, and he'd be the first to tell you that he missed some plays tonight in the pass game. But at the end, he's the guy that we put the ball in his hands to score the touchdown to kind of seal the win.
And he did just that. So congrats on the win, Coach, and good luck next week.
All right, thank you.
All right, that's Seth Drury down on our sideline, and we're going to catch up. Seth's going to make his way to Keith Bornas, and we'll get the Valley take of how this ball game went. And a very good finish for the Maroons tonight. And I don't know, what do you make of what Coach just had to say?
I think he's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
I think that it did take a little bit to get in a rhythm. Once they got in a rhythm, they were able to make some things happen. And like he said, Ryan Boyle's an honest kid, and he knows that he made some mistakes, but, he even said, Coach Tom reiterates the same thing I said. He is the playmaker. The offense runs through him, and so get the ball in his hands, and he'll make plays.
All right, we'll go down here in just a moment. Seth, give him the headset, and then I'll be able to talk to Keith just a little bit. And, the Maroons tonight, we talked about it, that first quarter was rough. Now, Southeast Polk tonight, at last check, was not fully into their game either. I don't know what to make of Southeast Polk yet. Some changes on the coaching staff there, so we don't know. But the defense last week for the Maroons played so well. Mm-hmm. Gave up only 5 or 9 yards. It was hot. It's been hot for practice, going on 2.5, almost 3 weeks now, so that's not really an excuse. Conditioning's not really a thing. The defense just wasn't on the field for a lot of time, and they were stopping Southeast Polk a lot of time. So this was the first big chance for that Dowling defense tonight to play a lot of snaps, and they did play a lot.
It was a big test, and it was a tougher test than Southeast Polk. Southeast Polk's a good football team, but they're not Valley. It's not the Dowling Valley rivalry. It's not at Drake Stadium. There aren't 10,000 people there. So, Dowling's defense was under the spotlight tonight, and I thought that they answered that challenge pretty well. I thought their pass coverage was solid. I thought they were able to make some adjustments down the stretch. They were getting a little beat up with the run, but were able to apply some pressure at select times. But I thought Valley did a great job of keeping themselves two-dimensional. We thought that with the quarterback issues and they were struggling with the run early, just like Dowling was, what the game plan was going to be, and I thought it was a great game.
All right, Keith Bornas is our ValleyWebcasting.com analyst on the Valley broadcast, and Coach, what'd you think there? You haven't heard every comment we've had, so I kind of hear cold what you have to say about Valley's performance tonight.
Well, first I thought Valley did a great job coming out into a really tough environment to play. And Valley Dowling is truly a great rivalry and in front of all the people. And to have both defenses stand up and really kind of control the line of scrimmage early on, that was great to see. But what I really thought was fantastic for Valley tonight was seeing a quarterback try and step up and take the challenge of becoming who's going to be the starting quarterback. And Connor Legrone did a great job answering a few questions on can he throw the ball down the field. We know that he can move, but can he throw the ball? And he answered a lot of questions tonight.
Yeah, Keith, and that's something that Billy and I talked about. And I had the chance to see Legrone play last week. Billy did not. He only saw it on tape. Maybe more than I do on what Coach Swenson, and I'm just guessing. This is just me. You know that Coach Swenson had to think to throw Legrone, have him throw the football because he had to prove that he could. Otherwise, this game would have been over 45 minutes ago.
Absolutely. And, Talon didn't come out of the game because he was doing a bad job. He was doing a very good job. But I did hear Billy talk a little bit about the defense applying pressure in some pretty key opportunities and taking advantage of them. And the one thing that Connor has over Talon right now is he's able to use his feet a little bit faster and get out of that area. But if he does not make some of those big plays, coming out and throwing that touchdown pass in the third quarter was really a turning point for him in this game, maybe even for the season. But yes, if we don't throw the ball, the game was over early.
Coach, I want to get your opinion, being down there and as obviously, again, as a head coach, what is Valley, we were kind of interested in the the play calling and the game plan with down 11 with just over a minute to play, and it just seemed like they weren't really necessarily prepared to run, to take their timeouts, or towards the end it seemed like they were content with just throwing the short pass inbounds and letting a little bit of time run off. Can you talk us through that? Were they looking for a bigger play, or was that just kind of an experience thing?
Well, you never really have an opportunity to use your 2-minute offense in you can try it in practice. Sometimes it goes very well, other times it doesn't. This was a perfect opportunity to use that. But as far as changing a game plan or trying to look for a bigger play, we all know that you get a feeling for the game and how things are going to go. And they talk about in baseball, there's no such thing as a 10-run home run. There's no such thing as an 11-point touchdown here
Yeah,
either.
Absolutely.
And so it's one of those deals where you really want to see what type of courage your team has in that situation. And, right there as time was winding down with the last 20 seconds or so, I think Coach Swenson saw what he needed to see. And one of the things that he talked about with the team right after everything was done is, losing is never fun. And coming down on the side that we came down on tonight to a very quality football team, there's no such thing as a moral victory when it comes to your biggest rival. And so he just simply said, it's not fun to lose, but we're going to come right back tomorrow morning, get ready to go, and get back to work on Monday.
All right, Keith Borness, thank you
Thanks,
so much
Keith.
for
We
your
appreciate
time.
it.
Appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Keith Borness and I will be on the air at valleywebcasting.com. We'll have the contest between the Valley Tigers and Southeast Polk. The Rams go on the road next week. The Dowling Catholic Maroons go to Ankeny and play the Ankeny Hawks under head coach Brad Zelenovich in his third game, and that's where you'll be.
I'll be out there helping out with the radio broadcast,
they
they
need
have
a little help
wild
from
card.
Ryan?
Dave Marcoulier is heading to Alabama, so
Well.
I'm getting the call to the radio next week. So, tune in to KWKY for a little bit. It's not my radio debut. I got to do it last year in Marshalltown in freezing cold rain. So hopefully the conditions are a little bit better this time. I felt like that was kind of the hazing process to get integrated. But I'm excited to go watch us play an interesting Ankeny team because, that was the one thing I talked to Coach Wilson about. We've got Ankeny next, and I do a lot of the film scout for our varsity. And he told me, he said, I have no idea what Ankeny's running.
Right.
So it'll be an interesting week, and it'll be an exciting game.
All right, Billy Battistone, as always, great to have you on board
Absolute
again.
pleasure. Looking forward to the rest of the season.
Very good game, very good job, and go easy on Amadeo next week.
Absolutely, we'll do.
All right, Dowling Catholic wins tonight. Let's do a quick recap of the scoring. It started with a Finn Doherty field goal for the Valley Tigers, then a 31-yard touchdown run for Nate Christian. Made it 7-3 Dowling, and they never looked back after that in the second quarter because there was no scoring in the first quarter. 26-yard field goal by Nick McClellan made it 10-3 Dowling, and then Connor LeGrone gets his first touchdown pass to Hartman, the tight end. It's 10-9 on a 56-yard touchdown pass there. 17-yard touchdown pass Boyle to Rico Gafford, 17-9 Dowling at that point with 33 seconds to play before halftime. Then a 36-yard touchdown run by Ryan Boyle. Maroons lead 24-9. Tyus Mason a run of 12 yards for a score. 34-yard field goal by Finn Doherty cuts that lead 24-19, but the Maroons bounce back with a Chase Dowell touchdown from 8 yards out to make it 31-19. Connor LeGrone, a touchdown pass to Tyus Mason. 31-26 your final there, and then Ryan Boyle seals the deal with a minute 8 to play on a 2-yard touchdown run. Dowling wins 37-26. That's a look at your final. Watch replays anytime at dmwebcasting.com. Follow us on Twitter at Dowling Webcast or at Valley Webcast, and also the Facebook pages as well. For Billy Battistone, for Ramel Slaughter, for Seth Drury, Eric Fishback, and the rest of the Valley and DM Webcasting and Dowling Webcasting crew, thank you so very much. My name is Paul Yeager. Thanks for joining us tonight again. Dowling improves to 2-0 with a 37-26 win over the Valley Tigers. Good night from Drake Stadium.